There is some more Yu-Gi-Oh drama over crossover breakers that you need to know about. Big dog, today we're going to be talking about what players are all up in arms about for this new crossover breaker set. And of course, like usual, I'm here with chat. So not only will they be giving me their opinion, you'll also be giving me yours in the comment section. Let's go ahead and jump on in. What's going on with ya, big dog? And it is an amazing day for Yu-Gi-Oh! I hope that your day phenomenal. But if it isn't, asa no dekitako de ichino o daionoso ni shana. Yeah, that's not even close. Today, big dogs, there are some things that we need to talk about with crossover breakers. A 60-card Yu-Gi-Oh set that is going to make its debut next week. Now, for people that don't know, crossover breakers is a deck build Yu-Gi-Oh set, and basically what happens in these deck build Yu-Gi-Oh sets is that it introduces 3 archetypes inside of it. Normally, at least one of them is competitive, but in this particular situation, 2 of them are thought of to be really competitive, and the third one is pretty fun. Now, throughout the stream, which actually inspired this video, players were saying some things about crossover breakers. And chat, I'ma need y'all to stand on business and say what y'all said about crossover breakers. Come on, don't be scared now. Say what you gotta say. The microphone is yours. Terraforming on legs finally super? I actually do want to talk about that. I do think that there is one problem with crossover breakers if we can be a little nitpicky. Normally in these deck build sets, we do get rarity upgrades or even some solid reprints. In this particular set, we really didn't get anything of importance. One of my favorite guys when it comes to information, Dual Daddy on Twitter, has given us pretty much a full spoiler with every single card that we needed to know in every rarity. Didn't they just reprint Abyss Dweller? My brother. They gave us reprints of cards that we already have reprints of, like Allure of Darkness, Abyss Dweller, Tornado Dragon, like Dimensional Fissure. Some of those they're not it. I think the most relevant reprints inside of this entire set is Evil Storm Exciton Knight, which is a pretty nice reprint. It comes rare or super rare. And then just like how we said in the chat, there's Planet Pathfinder finally coming super rare for the decks that need to be able to search their field spell. These reprints are underwhelming in comparison to some of the other deck build set reprints that we had. Allow me to take you back in the time. Chat, we got really cool cards like Gizmek the Orochian Collector's Rare. We got other niche cards like Dino Wrestler Pankratops, an upgraded Collector's Rare, Fossil Dig, Fire Formation Tenki, and unfortunately, while these cards were reprinted in the Rarity Collection set, at the time, this was the opus magnus of rarities. Getting those really cool cards that were generic in a higher rarity was one of the biggest reasons to buy this set. But looking at crossover breakers, it's a little disappointing in that cabinet. But now on to the archetypes. Now, crossover breakers is probably going to be one of the best deck build sets that we've had in a very long time. I mean, another set that comes out with strategies that are really good right now is Valiant Smashers. But even with Valiant Smashers, those strategies needed a lot more time to be able to flourish into the decks that they are today. Crossover breakers introduce Ryziel, a strategy that is really good at being able to Exceed Summon. And even better, this is a deck that is incredibly easy to learn. I'll get into the logistics about how Ryziel works and how to beat it and everything you need to know in a later video, but just know that this is a strategy that players are thinking is going to be a tier 1 deck right out the gate. I don't play the TCG, but I thought Ryziel is what the people wanted. A slower 2-card combo deck, they not always spreadsheet. Basically, what Crazy Diamond is saying is that Ryziel is a slower Yu-Gi-Oh deck that doesn't do a ton of combos, and you don't need to have a ridiculously long spreadsheet to learn the deck. It is incredibly straightforward and simple. And yes, Ryziel is pretty much that. It's a deck that doesn't put up Humpty Dumpty 5 negates. And it's also a deck that's pretty easy to interact with. It's incredibly strong, but not overbearing. The other strategy, Malice, is a little bit more nuanced, but this is another strategy that is really good. This is a Cyberse link-based Yu-Gi-Oh deck that fuses the waifu status with an actual viable competitive strategy. Waifu Mathmex is what you meant to say?
Yeah, boy.
And the best thing about these 2 decks is while they are xenophobic to Exceeds and Links, they're not necessarily xenophobic into their typing. For example, Malice locks you into Link summoning in Cyberse, but there's a wide array of really powerful Cyberse cards that you can be using. And for Yugioh, while it does lock you into rank 4, you aren't restricted to just Yugioh rank 4s. You can play any of the cool ones, which is the reason why cards like Abyss Dweller, Tornado Dragon, and Time Thief Redo are in here. But also is perplexing to why cards like Castell, which hasn't had a reprint in quite some time and is a good Time Wizard card, isn't in here. I agree, Yugioh and Malice being top decks on release is insane. And that's one of the best things about crossover breakers. Both of these Yu-Gi-Oh strategies are thought of to be some of the best decks in the game. They actually just might change the landscape completely, and we don't even need a ban list. Callie, the most important point to me as a new player is, can I afford any of this all-in-one goodness? And here's where we have our drama. So I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but unfortunately for some people in crossover breakers, there are going to be some changes here. Konami has been notorious for being a money-hungry, greedy Yu-Gi-Oh company, and most of all of the good Yugioh cards, that's Sword Yugioh, Ice Yugioh, and X Yugioh are ultra rares. There's also Yugioh Dual Drive and Detonator are ultra rares too. The problem with this is that Sword, Ice, and X, you need 3 copies of each. Dual Drive and Detonator, you also need 2 copies of each. Now for Malice, it is slightly cheaper. Malice P White Rabbit is an ultra rare. Malice Dormouse is only a super rare, but also has that collector's rare upgrade. Malice Q Hearts Cryptor is an ultra rare, and Malice MTP07 and Underground are also ultra rares. In this particular box set, there's 10 different ultra rares, 10 super rares, 40 rares. And 15 of those cards can be collector rares, and 3 of those cards can be quarter century rares. I want you guys to do a little bit of quick math on all the ultra rares I said in this set. Come on, big dogs, y'all can do it. Out of all of those ultra rares, how many are left for Ryuji? 5? Garcia.
10 minus 9 is 5?
Ryuji has 1 ultra rare inside of crossover breakers, and this is what the big drama is coming from. You see, from a lot of players' perspective, Konami has gotten exorbitantly greedy on this one. The best cards in this set are ultra rares and some of the highest cards to get. But this is probably the first time where I think you guys' drama is completely unwarranted. If you want to make it worth opening crossover breakers, there's gonna have to be cards that are going to be making it worth opening crossover breakers. You guys can't have a particular time where you open a good Yu-Gi-Oh set, especially a deck build set for that matter, with no great reprints, and get the cards that you need while also simultaneously having everything readily available for you, and then also having a way for OTS stores to be able to make their money. On the flip side, you get rewarded for buying a box of crossover breakers. I highly doubt that you would open 3 to 4 copies of the Ryuji monster in one box. Odds are you're going to get a couple of Yugioh cards, a couple of Malice cards, and if you trade and interact with other people, you guys can get the cards that you need. When I hear deck builder set, I feel like this pack should be for the new people to come into the game, not to make the rich people richer. I do agree. I think that some of the prices for these cards are completely outrageous, but you guys also have to remember, this may not even being a popular opinion, but it actually makes it worth buying a box of crossover breakers. Even if all of these cards are expensive, the odds of you getting these expensive cards just went up. And the more people will buy sets, the more of these cards will be in circulation. Do you guys want sets like this when you're rewarded for buying boxes? Or do you want trash sets when you pull some of the worst cards in the game and you feel bad? Take, for example, Rage of the Abyss. Rage of the Abyss is the perfect example. You get some times where you open Dominus Purge and Molcharmi, and then you open the Mimigul Secret Rare and the Primitive card. You feel bad. I genuinely think that the Yugioh cards and the Malice cards will cap out at the most expensive, maybe $20 each, because there'll be so much in circulation. But maybe that's just me being hopeful. Regardless, I'm excited to see a new change that could inspire something like that. $20 ain't no way? Think about it. Grand Harrier, how many times that these deck build sets come out and people just buy the singles and they're stuck on the back shelf of your OTS shop for so long? The hype for this set is way stronger than the hype for the other Yu-Gi-Oh sets. It's like incredible. If you compare it to like Amazing Defenders or Valiant Smashers or even Tactical Masters, nobody really invested into those sets. This set I think a lot of people will invest into it, which means that we'll have more of those cards in circulation. I still see Valiant Smashers at my OTS store. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Now, I do think that the boxes should be a little bit cheaper. I've seen boxes for like 80 bucks. That's crazy. I think that the price point for these boxes should be around the $40 mark if they're going to do this. Deck Core pre-sale is $500 for Yugioh? Holy, all right. If those prices are correct, then I'm obviously wrong, but keep in mind it's a pre-sale. There is no way the deck's going to be $500. That's insane. Do not buy into the hype that this deck is really expensive just because of pre-sales, guys. Pre-sales are built off of hype. If you really think about it, if the pre-sale of Yugioh is $500, it's like $700 to $800 for a case. I'm not saying that's not a lot of money. I'm just saying you can spend that much and get both of the cores and still get so many other cards left over, as well as some collector's rares and stuff like that. It's obviously better to get a case right now than it is to get the actual strategy because of all of the benefits. Those pre-sale prices will not hold at all. Might be forced to play Flu with the amount of shifter decks next format. That's a whole different story. Or maybe Konami is just yanking my chain again and I'm getting way too hopeful because we're getting closer to the holidays. Let me know if I'm tripping. Let me know if I have something going on here.